Today, we're going to see how I, the analyst, can seamlessly follow the workflow of an investigation within the Exabeam SIEM platform. Exabeam has been designed to be a platform which can effectively take on the task of scalable log management with an easy interface for the analyst and engineer alike. Collectors. Collectors collect data from hundreds of products, from on-premise logs to cloud-delivered security products, SaaS applications, and cloud infrastructures. Today, collectors collect data from over 200 on-premise products, 34 cloud-delivered security products, 11 SaaS productivity applications, and over 20 cloud infrastructure products. In addition, Exabeam also encompasses context management, from where we can ingest custom context from various sources, such as open source and threat intelligence resources. As a result, we can leverage these sources by creating a custom context table that can be used throughout the platform, such as for customized detections, use cases, and threat hunting. Logstream. Logstream sits on top of our unified ingestion pipeline. This is a single place to ingest all logs and context data at scale. Logstream offers rapid log ingestion processing at a sustained rate of over 1 million EPS today. This particular central console lets you create, deploy, and monitor parsers within the unified ingestion pipeline for all Exabeam products and its features. As data is ingested, it is parsed using thousands of pre-built log parsers and then enriched using context collectors from open source and commercial threat intelligence feeds. It is then immediately aligned against the Common Information Model framework. With Logstream, I'm able to see and understand how my parsers are performing and to see what data that I'm ingesting is being parsed. So, right away, I can see how many parsers are currently enabled and the health of those parsers. So right now, I have 36 parsers parsing out of all the different data feeds that are coming into the platform. By the way, this is out of over 10,000 pre-built default parsers. None seem to be in error state today, but if it were the case, I can easily choose to troubleshoot directly from this console. I can then take a look at parser health over time, where I realize that parsers firing on real-time data aren't always consistent. This is probably because I don't always have the same logs being generated every second, and so my parsers may increase and decrease over time as they're streaming in. So I can clearly see the consistency from organization here. Any dramatic changes may even suggest ingestion problems where I may want to review further. On the right here, I see my most active vendors. This is a great visualization of understanding out of all the data that's coming into the platform, which ones are passing, and how many logs are being passed for each one of those vendors. So if I filter on checkpoint, then it's great. I can now see that a lot of those logs are being passed, and this is my number one vendor at the moment. Let's clear the filters for vendor and product. If we scroll down, we can start to see all of the parsers that are active in the pipeline. I can see the parser name, the vendor, the product of these parsers. I can even see the events that were built post Exabeam's normalization as part of the Common Information Model. I can see the volume of logs matching these parsers, the status and the health, and when they were last updated. I can also reorder the parsers here. We call this parser precedence, and this makes sure that I can actually ensure that the right default parser is matching the right logs and format that I'm bringing in. I can also import parsers or create brand new parsers using our auto parser generator tool, which is embedded within this console. Let's take off all the filters for a second and use our free text search tool to search for particular Microsoft logs. So immediately the results come back. Once they're back, I can view the details, which we're going to do in just a moment. I could customize this particular parser if I wanted to extract more fields or change field extractions. I could duplicate this parser disable it, or launch LiveTel to see live ingest view of the logs in this particular pipeline. Let's view the details. As you can see, we are using a consistent naming convention and version control for all of our parsers. This allows for easy searching, as we've just done, as well as a premise for troubleshooting to determine perhaps if there is a specific parser has issues and who made those changes to the default parser content. Additionally, for all parsers and logs entering the platform, we demonstrate if those logs are aligning with the Common Information Model fields. This is extremely important for core requirements, as well as specific detection requirements which may be important to meet key security-based use cases. In summary, often there is a tendency for some organizations to want to log everything. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. It gives us all a sense of control, especially if something goes wrong. But essentially, we at Exabeam believe that quality is extremely important, specifically to ensure key security events are collected for an analyst. But after you log everything and you know your data and parser are healthy, what we want to do is essentially start to use that data more effectively in the battle against the adversary by turning the raw log data and into something more meaningful and actionable. Threat Center. The key goal of Threat Center is to be a unified workbench for threat detection and to be a primary starting point for investigations and response. Threat Center is the start of any analyst workday. Exabeam SIEM supports analyst workflows by centralizing threat management, investigation tools, and automation to efficiently investigate and respond to threats. Detections can be triggered from the correlation engine, the anomaly detection engine, or third-party alerts, and we are automatically grouping these detections using our detection grouping rules to surface up the most important threats. Cases can be created manually or automatically. Let's look further in alerts. An analyst can manually review an alert and escalate it to a case for further investigation, or a playbook can be created to escalate an alert that meets specific conditions. Let's look at one example. Because we understand that Threat Center encompasses triggers from our anomaly detection engine, we have a default playbook that automatically escalates an alert to a case when an entity reaches 90 points of risk. Let's review our cases. We also have the ability to automatically group alerts and cases. This is particularly useful if, for example, we're seeing a specific indicator of threat coming from a single malicious IP address. Let's take a look at this particular example for data exfiltration. We can see various triggers and detections against a specific external IP address. This particular feature is very powerful as it allows us to group detections holistically based upon the source, which in turn allows us to easily and quickly understand the full scope of the threat. Back to our cases. Again, I can use the search facility to see any cases assigned to me over the last 7 days. I can click on the link to understand how this user, B. Hannah, became risky. In this case, 10 detections in total, 9 from our anomaly detection engine and 1 correlation rule trigger. I can also scroll down and see all the entities involved in this case which have been gathered automatically. As well as this, all the triggers against MITRE TTPs that may also be important to you. However, most poignantly, we also map these triggers against use cases. At the top, we have leveraged AI Copilot, which provides a detailed summary of the IOCs of this case and possible remediation steps. We have also amalgamated AI Analyst, where we can interact with the AI directly to ask further questions. Let's take a quick look as to what happened to this user. By clicking the threat timeline, I can see all of the detections that brought up this risk score. Exabeam uses natural language throughout the platform to help the analyst understand and learn what has happened with ease and efficiency. In this case, Brioni B. Hanna has received an email from Andy at itrecruiter.com. Subsequently after, a malicious process executed, and then there was a trigger against our DJ domain detection algorithms to identify a malicious domain connection. Automation management. Automation management combines security orchestration, automation and response, or SOAR, with pre-built playbooks and a no-code playbook editor to decrease the time needed to resolve security incidents. Let's create an example to demonstrate this capability. Creating a new playbook. Create a case. When specific use case is equal to data exfiltration, even data leak. And when that happens, send all threats and alerts to webhook. And this webhook could be a third-party email system, could be a third-party ticketing system. Let's name that playbook. Since we're keeping it inside Exabeam, let's send it via email to our SOC team. And the playbook is active. Search. The search application allows a simplified search experience with fast query results through petabytes or even years of data without the need for complex queries. You can search both hot and warm data at the same speeds. There are 3 ways of searching within the search application. The first is through the wizard, where we have already filtered out the event types, the vendors, and the products in alignment with the common information model. So for simplicity, let's search for checkpoint events over the last 15 minutes. The advanced view allows you to build a query manually with an autocomplete option. And finally, the natural language option allows you to query the data using human-readable format. Let's see, for example, what we get from the top 10 products in the last month. As you can see, this not only builds the query for us, but also filters the timescope automatically. This feature not only helps in speeding up forensic investigations, but also helps in upskilling analysts on the search query language. Now, one of the key focuses for Exabeam is to make any threat hunt immediately actionable as part of detection arsenals. So as a result, we can create any search which can be converted to a correlation rule. Let's go back to our basic search and search for checkpoint events where there's an IOC trigger. I can now convert this query to a correlation rule. This now opens the correlation rule application. I can retest a query over large sets of data or continue with the wizard. Perhaps when this triggers, I'll send an email. I'll set a rule name align it with a specific use case, in this case brute force. Perhaps there's some tags I want to add here, or MITRE TTPs that are important to me. We'll pick one to complete the wizard. Let's pick one here. Set the severity and save. This now pivots me into the correlation rule list and application. Remember, you don't have to create all your alerts and correlation rules yourself. Exabeam has created over 200 pre-built rules as a framework for you to get started. You can also filter by these rules by use case or even MITRE TTP, depending on your requirements, and customize those rules further for your organization. Dashboards. With dashboards, analysts can visualize data according to their role, requirements, and understand trends and thus risk. Let's grab a cup of coffee and do some work. I need to start my day to understand the posture of my environment and make sure that there are no key risks that need looking into. I've created this dashboard to focus on key security alerts according to the tooling investments I've made, specifically to look at MFA-based alerts due to the recent and past MFA-based attacks that have been seen. Let's have a look down the dashboard to see if anything stands out. Nothing appears too crazy out of place, but seems to be a high number of MFA rejects and quite a few large number of failed logons as well. The dashboard is interactive. I can pivot into search, which automatically enriches the search query and search against those results in the raw data. Perhaps this search is important to me. As shown before, I can convert that straight into an actionable detection if I so wish. Let's have a look at a second example within my dashboard. I missed something at the top there. Seems to be a lot of cloud file sharing sites here, including exports. A lot of sharing with external users, as you can see. All visualizations that you create are interactive. We can use the legends to filter or go straight into the search application to look at the data further. Again, I can save the query as a correlation rule, hence detection, or modify the query to go deeper into the forensics of this particular type of event. Outcomes Navigator. For the architect or SOC manager, we have tools making it easier to see the current coverage by use cases or MITRE attack mappings, helping build a business case as appropriate to see more logs that may allow your team to see attacks sooner or more completely. Outcomes Navigator was specifically made for this. For any use case coverage, you can review the details, understand what that coverage means, so the rule triggers based on anomaly detection or correlation rule detections, the events that are triggering these particular types of use cases, and also review how you can improve that coverage by reviewing your log sources and parsing capabilities. So, for example, to review how you can improve the posture of your checkpoint firewall logs, simply click on Improve Parsing, which pivots back over to Logstream, where you can start to review the parsers and understand where you can fill the gaps. Service, health, and consumption. Additionally, a SOC manager or even an architect will need to monitor licenses, volumes in storage, and view throughput and log flows to see that everyone is working as expected. Service and health consumption allows you to view all the statistics around your collection and processing and applications, including license count and utilization of volume based on log type. This allows you to accurately plan for log volume and consumption conversations and understand where improvements can be made. There is so much more to Exabeam SIEM. I hope this gives you a flavor on how Exabeam is a great platform for your analyst and the Security Operations Center, provides solid evidence and use cases for management to effectively review their organization's security posture. Exabeam SIEM helps you understand risk and investigate indicators of intent right through to resolution.